There's a kind of peace that doesn't depend on anyone else's choices. It's the peace that comes when you finally decide what's okay for you and what isn't. Boundaries are how we keep that peace. They are not about changing people. Boundaries are about staying clear and calm no matter what someone else decides to do. When you understand that, boundaries stop feeling harsh or controlling, and they become a form of self-respect, a way to take care of your time and your energy and your emotional well-being while still showing up with love. Welcome to Feel Better, Live Better. I'm your host, Stephanie Bridges, and each week we talk about simple ways to fuel your body, free your mind, and create the energy and confidence you need to live well. Let's get started. So let's get clear on what we're talking about. A boundary is simply a decision you make about how you will act in order to take care of yourself. Some people mistakenly believe that setting boundaries means giving people an ultimatum, like if you don't clean up this room, you're grounded, or if you don't get your act together, we can't be friends anymore. An ultimatum tries to force someone else to change. They sound like boundaries, but they're not. They're more like punishments. They come from trying to make someone behave differently so we can feel better. A true boundary sounds more like, this is what I will do or what I won't do, and this is what I will allow. So, for example, if you decide, I don't respond to work emails after 8 o'clock at night, or if you yell at me, I'm going to leave the room. That's a boundary. So if you notice, the behavior of the other person is their choice and your behavior is your choice. And that's it. So do you see the difference? The ultimatum tries to control, and a real boundary doesn't force the other person to change. When we set a boundary hoping to control someone else's behavior, we're going to be disappointed every time because you can't guarantee that someone else is what they're going to do. Instead, you set your boundary for you. You're saying, this is how I will behave and here's what I will do. And you don't need them to change. You just need to know how you will respond. Boundaries are actually one of the healthiest things that you can do, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. They allow you to be true to yourself, but at the same time, not let other people push you around or take advantage of you. And that helps you to not be resentful towards the other person. So if you decide, I'm not going to stay in a conversation where I'm being spoken to in a disrespectful way, that means you might walk away. You're not doing it to punish the other person. You're just honoring yourself. Or if you decide you won't answer calls or texts about work once it's dinner time, you are choosing how you're going to manage your time. If you have a family member who is always asking you to watch their kids, but you really need your weekends to rest and get other things done, you can decide in advance what you'll do. And it's okay to say, I love you, but the answer is no. Another thing to know is you don't always need to announce what your boundary is. Sometimes you just simply act on what you decided to do, and that's enough. And finally, when someone doesn't respect your boundary, you don't have to get angry. You just simply respond in the way that you said you would. When you stay consistent, then you don't have to waste your energy deciding all the time what you're going to do. There is also a difference between a boundary and a request. A request might sound like, could you please stop interrupting when I'm talking? And a boundary is more like, if you keep interrupting when I'm talking, I'm going to hang up and we can talk a different time. A request asks, and boundaries decide what you will choose. And if you treat a boundary like a request, you'll still be expecting someone else to comply with what you want. And when they don't, you're most likely going to feel resentful and powerless. If you treat it as your decision, you are responsible for you. And now you're not controlling the other person, you're just controlling yourself. So here are 4 simple steps to creating a boundary. First, decide what you will do or not do. For example, I'm deciding to that I'm going to walk away when this certain thing happens. And then second, you want to communicate to the other person if that's what's needed. You don't always have to tell them if you feel like it's not something that they would even care about knowing. You just get to decide for yourself. You can say, when you raise your voice to me, I'm going to leave the room. And then third, then you do the thing that you say you're going to do. If they raise their voice to you, you go ahead and leave the room. And then lastly, you can adjust things over time. As you grow in your confidence, you can decide even more what you will allow and what you won't. And you can create those boundaries for yourself. So just be consistent and expect to feel uncomfortable. You might feel like you're being mean, but remember, you're not being mean, you're just setting clear boundaries. You aren't punishing them, you are protecting your inner world. And you don't have to feel angry to set that boundary. You can feel calm and respectful and even loving. So try asking yourself, what's a boundary I've been avoiding because I'm afraid of what the other person will think or how they'll react? And let that be uncomfortable. It's really okay. When you aren't used to honoring yourself, it's going to feel strange, but just keep going. And remember, you don't control the other person's behavior, only your response. Okay, so let's move into the subconscious release part for this week. And if you've never done this with me before, it's super easy. I will say deep breath in. You will take a breath in and hold your breath. While you're holding your breath, I will say this statement. You repeat it silently in your mind, and then you can breathe out. And that's all there is to it. Okay, deep breath in. I release all guilt with, if I set a boundary, people will think I'm selfish or mean. Deep breath in. I release all pressure with, if I set a boundary, people will think I'm selfish or mean. Deep breath in. I release all worry with, if I set a boundary, people will think I'm selfish or mean. Deep breath in. I release all blocks to self-love with, if I set a boundary, people will think I'm selfish or mean. Deep breath in. I release all blocks to self-expression with, if I set a boundary, people will think I'm selfish or mean. And deep breath in and out. Deep breath in. I release all resentment with, it's my job to make sure everyone else is happy. Deep breath in. I release all stress with it's my job to make sure everyone else is happy. Deep breath in. I release all overwhelm with it's my job to make sure everyone else is happy. Deep breath in. I release all blocks to trust with it's my job to make sure everyone else is happy. Deep breath in. I release all blocks to fulfillment with it's my job to make sure everyone else is happy. And deep breath in and out. Deep breath in. I release all nervousness with setting boundaries will push people away or create conflict. Deep breath in. I release all anxiety with setting boundaries will push people away or create conflict. Deep breath in. I release all shame with setting boundaries will push people away or create conflict. Deep breath in. I release all blocks to letting go with setting boundaries will push people away or create conflict. Deep breath in. I release all blocks to love with setting boundaries will push people away or create conflict. And deep breath in and out. Okay, now that we've released that, we're going to fill up that space with some better things. Okay, so we do this the same way. Deep breath in. I'm so happy and grateful. It's safe for me to protect my peace. Deep breath in. I'm so happy and grateful. Clear boundaries make my relationships healthier. And deep breath in and out. So you don't need perfect relationships, perfect behavior from other people, or perfect timing to set healthy boundaries. What you need is your decision, what you will do, how you'll show up, how you will protect yourself, and you also decide what you're worth and that you are worth taking care of. And show up for yourself. And when you do that, you free up your energy and you honor your value and you create space for healthier connection with the people around you. If you are feeling stuck, pick one area where you haven't been taking care of you and ask what you will start doing differently, and then commit to it. I hope this episode has been helpful to you. Please connect with me on Instagram at Stephanie Bridges Coaching or visit my website, livingthebestyou.com, for more support. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me today on Feel Better, Live Better. If you're ready to take the next step, be sure to go to my website, livingthebestyou.com. You'll find free resources and the support you need to accomplish your goals. And if this podcast connects some dots for you, please follow and share with a friend. Until next time, remember, when you feel better, you really do live better.